My mom threw me and my kids out of Christmas dinner, right after I spent $22,000 this year keeping them afloat. She said my sister deserved it more and slammed the door in my face. So I canceled everything I'd been paying for, their mortgage, their truck loan, every bill. The snowstorm handled the rest. The snow was pounding against the windows of my beat-up duplex, like it was angry at the world. It was December 20th, 5 days before Christmas. I sat slouched at the kitchen table, holding a half-warm beer. My knuckles were scraped raw from fixing a frozen brake line on my truck. Olivia, 9, and Mark, 7, were on the living room floor, taping paper ornaments to a scraggly $15 tree I'd bargained for at the gas station lot. The space heater wheezed in the corner, barely keeping the cold out. I could see my breath in the dim light. I had just come home from a 15-hour shift, hauling lumber through a snowstorm. My boots left muddy tracks by the door, and my shoulders ached. My phone buzzed hard on the table, rattling a stack of overdue bills. It was Mom calling. I figured she needed money again, maybe for Christmas dinner or another one of Teresa's emergencies. I'd sent them $22,000 this year alone. I hit speakerphone and leaned back. "John, Christmas dinner's canceled for you," Mom said, sharp and cold like I was some annoying kid. "Teresa's running it, and we're keeping it small, no room for you and the kids." The words hit me like a truck. Olivia dropped her tape, and her paper star crumpled. Mark froze, staring at me with wide, hurt eyes. "What the hell is this?" I said, slamming the beer can down so hard it dented, foam spilling onto the table. "You're kicking us out? For Teresa?" "Yeah," Mom said, like she was tossing out garbage. "Her twins are sensitive. Your kids are too wild. It's better without you. We'll catch up another time." The heater rattled weakly. The room went silent, the kids' sad faces cutting into me. I jumped up, the chair tipping back, stomping across the sticky floor. "I gave you 22 grand this year," I shouted. "Vacations, groceries, your car, the house, Teresa's failed flower shop, fancy dinners, and you're picking her over us?" Mom just sighed, annoyed. "Don't blow this up, John, it's one night. Teresa's had a hard year. Your kids are tough, they'll be fine." Tough little buggers. The words boiled my blood. I slammed my fist into the counter, rattling Olivia's drawings. "I've been breaking my back to keep you all afloat," I said, my voice shaking. "My kids aren't tough, they're kids, Mom. And you're choosing Teresa's spoiled brats over them." Olivia shrank back on the couch, grabbing Mark's arm. Mark's lip quivered, his snowflake ripped in half. "Watch your mouth," Mom snapped. "This is family. Teresa needs this. You're strong. You'll survive. Stop being so selfish." Selfish. That word lit me up. I laughed, bitter and ugly. I paid for every trip, every meal, every bill, and I'm selfish? I turned to the window, staring at my buried truck. It stood still open from earlier. Mom stayed quiet, then muttered. "You always offered, John, don't twist it." "Offered?" I barked, spinning around. "I covered everything because you all would have drowned otherwise. Hotels, gas, groceries, fancy boots for her twins, all while my kids were second-hand clothes. But sure, I begged to do it." Mom's voice turned hard. "It's for Teresa," she said. "You'll manage. Merry Christmas." Then she hung up. I stared at the phone like it had punched me. Olivia whispered, "Are we too loud, Daddy? So small and scared." Mark wiped his nose on his sleeve, his snowflake in pieces. I dropped to my knees and pulled them into a hug. "No, baby, you're perfect. They're the broken ones. We'll have a Christmas way better than theirs, I promise." My voice stayed calm for them. But inside, I was burning. Teresa, the golden child, could never do wrong. Even after she blew $35,000 of their retirement on a flower shop that crashed in 5 months, they still worshipped her. I didn't complain. I paid for everything, vacations, groceries, mortgage, truck loans, all of it, quietly, year after year. $22,000 this year alone. While my kids lived on hand-me-downs and I skipped meals so they could eat. I let it all slide. Until they kicked us out of Christmas. I grabbed my laptop off the messy counter and flipped it open. The screen blinked to life. I logged into the bank account tied to their mortgage. My name was still on it. Ever since Dad messed up the login and Mom cooed. "You're our rock, John." I scrolled through the charges. $22,000 gone this year, $7,000 on their vacations, hotels, gas, park tickets, $5,000 on their groceries and bills, $2,800 toward Dad's truck, $6,200 for the house, $1,000 to bail out Teresa's flower shop, plus random cash, hotel stays, all paid by me, while my kids wore hand-me-downs. I found the mortgage, $1,400 due on January 1st. Autopay was still set up from my account. I clicked cancel. Then hit the truck loan, $400 a month, and canceled that too. The payment stopped showed up, bright and final. They'd feel it when the heat turned off and the truck quit right after their fancy Christmas. I leaned back and smiled darkly. Let Teresa's sensitive twins bundle up when the cold bit. Christmas Eve showed up, dragging a heavy storm. Our little duplex was lit with homemade decorations, paper chains from old flyers, a crooked tree with half-dead lights. The kids giggled as we baked cookies from a dented can of mix. I kept working, another haul through the storm. The roads were ice, the cold biting through my jacket. No calls yet, just the kids' voices in the background when I finally came home, boots soaked, crashing on the couch with coffee in hand. Olivia and Mark piled on me, showing off cookies that were lumpy and perfect. For once, I laughed, really laughed. One night, I met my old trucking buddy, Logan, at the roadhouse. The place smelled like grease and fried onions. He slid into the booth, snagging food off my plate. "You look ready to punch a wall," he joked. I sipped my coffee, bitter and strong. "Parents kicked me and the kids out of Christmas, after $22,000 this year, said my kids are too loud." He dropped his onion ring, stunned. "No way, and they still expect you to pay for them?" I nodded slowly. "Not anymore, I canceled their mortgage and truck loan. Let 'em freeze." He cracked up, slapping the table. "That's brutal, but they had it coming." I clinked my coffee mug against his beer. "They picked Teresa, I picked my kids." The roadhouse felt warm and right, a world away from the betrayal. Christmas morning came, snow piled high. The kids ripped into their thrift store gifts, a doll with a lazy eye for Olivia, a banged-up robot for Mark. Their smiles lit up our tiny living room. I made dinner from a Clarence ham, box stuffing, and a can of peas. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. At 9 a.m., my phone buzzed. "Mom, John, heat's acting up, help." I ignored it, carving the ham while Mark stacked spoons. An hour later, Dad left a voicemail. "Furnace is out, get over here." I didn't move. Teresa texted, "You're screwing us, it's freezing." I smiled, handing Olivia a roll while our heater hummed warmly. By noon, their texts were desperate. "Mom, John, it's 55 degrees, what's going on?" "Dad, 51 degrees, pay it now." Teresa, "My twins are freezing, you bastard." I played Go Fish with Olivia and Mark, the buzz of their panic nothing but static. The day wore on, their house got colder. That night, while the storm howled and the duplex stayed cozy, my phone lit up nonstop. "Mom, John, it's 45 degrees, help." "Dad, fix it now." Teresa, "You ruined Christmas." I fried up leftover ham, grinning at the thought of their house turning into an icebox while we watched Elf on a scratched DVD, laughing together under a pile of old blankets. December 26th, snow waist deep, cold sharp as knives. I shoveled the sidewalk while my phone blew up. "Mom, John, it's 40 degrees, Teresa's freaking out." Dad's voicemail snarled, "You're killing us, John." Teresa, "My twins are coughing." I kept tossing snow, listening to Olivia and Mark squeal as they threw snowballs. That night, while patching drywall, the doorbell rang, loud and angry. I wiped my hands and peeked outside. Dad stood there, snow crusted on his jacket, face red with rage. I cracked the door open, warm air spilling out. "John," he shouted, "the heat's been off for 2 days, the truck's dead, you did this." I stayed calm, leaning in the doorway. "You kicked me and my kids out after $22,000 this year, guess you didn't need me." He fumed. "It was one night, Teresa's twins are sick." I shook my head. "One night? After years of me paying for everything? Nah, this is your mess now, call the bank, call Teresa." He was desperate, snow flying as he ranted. "It's 35 degrees, the truck's gone, please." I didn't move. "Not my problem, happy holidays." I closed the door, locking it while his shouting faded into the storm. More texts poured in. "Mom, John, we're dying, help." Teresa, "You're a monster." "Dad, fix it." I turned off the phone, smoothing the drywall patch. Their chaos nothing but a ghost. January 2nd, snow still deep, cold still brutal. I was outside chopping wood when my cousin Fred called, laughing so hard he could barely talk. "John, they're wrecked," he said. "Teresa's posting sob stories, Mom's begging neighbors for heaters, Dad's truck got repoed. What did you do?" I leaned on my axe. Canceled the mortgage and truck loan after they ditched me and the kids. $22,000, done. Fred hooted. "You're a legend, Mun. Teresa's kids are coughing up a storm, they're toast." I smirked, stacking the wood. Let them freeze. January 4th, the snow eased, but their problems didn't. At the roadhouse with Logan, eating burgers, my phone buzzed nonstop. "Teresa, my kids are at the clinic, you bastard." Mom, John, it's unbearable. Dad, truck's gone, heat's out, help. I ignored every message, chewing slowly while Logan cracked up. They're still crying? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, they're feeling it now. He slapped the table, laughing. Good, they earned every shiver. But then, a knock at my door on January 7th. Urgent, sharp, like trouble was waiting on the other side. I opened the door. Teresa stood there, no coat, hair a mess, shivering, looking nothing like her usual self. John, she said, her voice shaking, I have to tell you the truth. I leaned on the doorframe, holding a wrench from fixing the radiator. Talk. She hugged herself, snow melting into her sweater. Mom and Dad lied. The flower shop, it wasn't my fault. They stole the money, they were running a scam, forging checks, and borrowing from shady people to keep up their life. They blamed it on me. They said if I didn't cover for them, it would destroy them. They promised me half the house if I kept quiet. I felt sick. The wrench slipped from my hand and hit the floor. You're just like me. No, she cried, tears freezing on her cheeks. They were using you. $22,000 this year, even more before, to pay their debts and hide the scam. I took the blame because they promised to help me later, but now everything's falling apart. My twins are sick, I'm broke, the loan shark is after them. The wind whipped around her as she cried harder. I didn't know they would throw you and your kids away like this. I stared at her, the radiator hissing behind me. I thought about all the times they took my money, all the lies. 22 grand this year, and you let me take the hit? She nodded, small and scared. I was afraid. They threatened to leave me, too, but it's all crashing down now. You needed to know. I breathed out, my breath making clouds in the cold air, my hand clenched into a fist. You're all leeches. I already canceled the mortgage and the truck. They're finished. Tell them I know everything, and tell the shark too. Get off my porch. She flinched and backed away. John, I slammed the door, locked it, watched her shadow disappear into the snow. 3 days later, Fred called, laughing so hard he could barely talk. Man, it's a disaster. Teresa posted everything online, the forged checks, the shady loans, everyone's freaking out, banks taking the house, trucks gone, some tough guys are snooping around their place, they're toast. I smiled while stirring a pot of soup, the kids' laughter filling the house as they built a fort with Legos. They finally get it? I asked. Fred snorted, not even close. Your mom's begging everyone for help, your dad's selling junk, Teresa's kids are sick, you blew up their whole world. I ladled the soup into bowls, steam rising, they wrecked themselves, I just stopped helping. By January 12th, the snow was melting, their life was in ruins, but mine was strong. I was at the ice rink, watching Olivia and Mark skate, wobbly but proud, when my phone buzzed. Mom, John, we're losing everything, help us. Dad, you ruined us, fix it. Teresa, I'm sorry, my kids are worse. I didn't answer, I cheered louder as Mark took a shaky lap around the rink, imagining their cold, broken house. That night, while grilling burgers, the kids begging for extra cheese, the doorbell rang. I looked out, Dad stood there, dusted in snow, holding a pawn ticket, looking broken. I opened the door just a crack, letting the smell of burgers drift out. What? I asked. John, he rasped, we screwed up, the scam, the fake checks, the loans, we pinned it on Teresa, we drained you to cover it up, now the house is gone, the truck's gone, the shark's coming for us, please, help. He looked like a beaten man. I leaned on the doorframe, cold and calm. 22 grand this year, years of you using me, and you kicked me and my kids out because we weren't good enough for dinner. I'm done. He shook his head, desperate. We're sorry, Teresa's gone, we're broke, he's gonna hurt us. I cut him off. You had me, now you have the shark, good luck. I closed the door, he pounded on it once, then left. I plated the burgers and handed them to Olivia and Mark. By February, the snow was melting, but the damage to their lives was clear. One day, at the park, as the kids slid down the hill, Fred called again, still laughing. John, it's over, their house got taken, your dad's pawning off tools, your mom's begging family, Teresa's twins are stuck in a free clinic, the sharks are closing in, you really brought it all down. I grinned, pushing Mark's sled harder as he squealed with joy. They finally realize what they did? Fred laughed. Nope, still blaming everyone else, but you're free, man. That night, I lit a fire in the backyard. The kids roasted marshmallows, the flames lighting up their smiling faces. They could drown in their own mess. I would keep my kids warm, safe, and happy.